Hello children, good morning. How are you all, my dear cadets of class 8? Okay, very good. Okay, so children, today we will revise how the camel got his hump. This chapter is there in your monthly test. Yes children, next month you have your monthly test. Okay, so let's begin this session. Comprehension check, page 3. Question 1. What tasks do you think were assigned to the dog and the ox? The dog was assigned the task of fetching and carrying. Fetching means bringing. The ox was made to plow the fields. Why did the camel live in the middle of the desert? The camel lived in the middle of the desert because it did not want to work. Remember children? Do you remember the story? Camel was so lazy, he didn't want to do any work. What made the dog, the horse and the ox very angry? The dog, the horse and the ox were angry because man, their master, told them to work double time to make up for the camel's idleness. How did the jinn know? The horse was complaining against the camel. The jinn was the master of deserts, so he was able to know easily who the animal with a long neck and long legs was. Comprehension check, page 5. The camel was looking at his own reflection in the pool. What does it suggest to you about the camel? This statement suggests that the camel loved its own image in the pool. Perhaps he considered himself handsome looking. The camel said, "Hump," repeatedly. How did it affect him? What happened to him? Okay, the word hump annoyed the jinn. Hump made the jinn very angry. The word hump, yes, he turned hump, H-U-M-P-H, into the hump on the camel's back. What, according to the jinn, was the use of the hump? The camel's hump contained food material. It helped the desert animal go without any food for 3 days. He has never yet learned to behave. In the light of this, what is the writer's opinion about the camel? The writer is of the opinion that the camel, what happened? The camel has not changed its nature and habits to this day. That means still it's very lazy. Okay, page number 6. Discuss the following topics in groups. Children, you're not at school, you're not in your classroom, so you cannot discuss in groups. You think about the answer and write. Yes, children? Okay. Can the story be factually true? No. The story is not factually true. It is just an imaginary one. What, according to you, is the story about? You have to consider the following. So, the correct answer is which one? Yeah, how the camel got his hump. What did you do over the weekend? Were you generally active or idle? Check your bag before starting to discuss or answer the question. On weekend I got up late, everybody does, and relaxed. Late evening I watched my favorite TV serial. I played cricket in the afternoon. I have checked my bag and there is no harm. Why? Because I was not idle. I was quite active. That's the reason I have not developed a hump. Right, children? Okay. There are broadly two categories of workers. Those who prefer to do today what they can do tomorrow, and those who prefer to do tomorrow what they can do today. Where do you belong? To which category? I personally believe in doing my work promptly and well in time. Okay. A few more questions and answers. Short answer type questions. Question 1. Why did early man domesticate a few animals? Early man domesticated animals for different purposes. They used them to carry heavy loads, draw carts, and plow the field. Which animal, in your opinion, is man's best friend and most useful too? The dog is man's best friend. It provides security and even draws the sledge on ice. It is known for its faithfulness. The horse and the elephants have also been very friendly to man. Do you think the camel renders no service to man? The camel is rightly called the ship of the desert. It renders a variety of services to man. It is the chief means of transport across the desert. It plows the fields and gives milk and meat to its master. Do you think hump on a camel's back has no use? The hump on a camel's back is an obstruction in riding, but it is very useful. So it is very useful. Correct. It contains fat. It contains fat in food. Yes, it does contain. A camel can get its food from the hump for several days. Okay, who was Jinn? How did he set the camel right? Jinn was in charge of all. Jinn was in charge of all deserts. Yes. So the horse, ox, and the dog complained to him about the camel's laziness. The Jinn scolded the camel and gave a hump on its back and ordered it to serve man as did other animals. A few more questions. What made the three very angry? The dog, the horse and dogs were hard-working animals. They did different works for men. The dog carried heavy loads, the horse drew carts, and the ox plowed the field. These three were fed up with the camel because he did not do any work. He was so lazy. So one day they complained to man about the camel's laziness. At this the man became angry. He told the three to leave the camel alone and work double time to compensate camel's work. That made the three very angry. They held a panchayat. What's a panchayat? A meeting. But it proved in vain. In vain means useless. It was of no use. The camel came chewing and laughed at them. How did the camel get a hump? In the beginning, the camel was a lazy animal. He didn't want to work and lived in the middle of a desert, away from the other working animals. But the animals never forgot him and his nature. They wanted him to work like them. They complained against him to the jinn, who was in charge of all deserts. The jinn decided to punish such an idle animal. So what did the jinn decide to do? To punish the camel. He told the camel to work like other animals, but the camel showed no willingness to work. It was not interested. This made the jinn angry. He put a curse on the camel. Soon the camel's back puffed up into a big bump. So this is how the camel got what? So this is how the camel got that hump. Okay, children, this is the story in brief. The man summoned the horse, the dog and the ox. He asked them about the camel. All the three animals told him what had happened. Even after hearing them, the man asked them to work double time in order to compensate for the camel's work. This made all three of them furious and angry. They decided to hold a panchayat, means meeting. In the panchayat came the jinn of all deserts. During the panchayat, what did the horse do? The horse complained about the camel to the jinn. He told him that the camel would not work and only say hump all the time. The jinn promised them that he will set the camel right. That means punish him. Okay, the jinn found the camel in the desert where he was looking at his reflection in the water. He asked the camel to work, but as usual, the camel said hump. As soon as the camel uttered these words, he saw his beautiful back puffing up and puffing up. This was very strange, peculiar. The camel was very proud of his beautiful back, but now it became ugly. Why? Yeah, the jinn explained to the camel that it was his own hump. He is only responsible for the work for this, as he did not work. The jinn now asked the camel to work, but he said he can't work due to this hump. He told the camel that as he did not work for 3 days, with this hump he can now work for 3 days without eating or drinking. From that day the camel has a hump, but still it has not learned to behave. So once again, let us revise, children. I am doing it again and again for your benefit. Some of you may not have the textbook also. Yes, so that's the reason I am trying to help you out. So please read it. In the beginning, the world was new. The animals were just beginning to work for man. I am doing this story again and again for you, for your benefit. There was a camel. He lived in the middle of a howling desert. He did not want to work. He ate sticks and thorns. And he said hump when anyone spoke to him. Okay, next, horse, dog and ox. So the horse went to him on Monday. To whom? To the camel. He asked the camel to come out and trot, to move around, to work. But the camel said hump. The horse told the man about it. The dog came to him. He asked him to work. But all that the camel did was what? He said only hump. The ox came to him. The camel said hump. Okay, double time. The man called the horse, the dog and the ox. He told about the camel. To compensate the camel's work, he asked them to work double time. The 3 animals got very angry. They held a panchayat, that is a meeting. There came the jinn of all deserts. Complaint. The horse complained to the jinn about the camel. He told the jinn that the camel did not do any work. He said only hump. The jinn assured them that he would set the camel right. Ugly camel. The jinn found the camel in the desert. He was looking at his own reflection in water. The jinn asked him to work, but the camel said, "Hump only." But as soon as he said this, he saw something strange happening. He saw his beautiful back was puffing up. He was very proud of his back. Now it turned to be very ugly. The jinn told the camel that it was his own hump. He himself had brought it upon him by not working. But jinn ordered him to work, but the camel said that he couldn't work because of that hump. The hump was a big hurdle. What was the purpose of the hump? The jinn told the camel that the hump had a purpose. The camel had not done work for 3 days. He would always be able to walk for 3 days without eating. He could live on his hump. The jinn asked the camel to behave properly. Camel's behavior? How was the camel's behavior? The camel went away to join the tree. From that day, the camel always has a hump, but he has not caught up with his 3 days. He had missed them at the beginning of the world. He has not yet learned to behave. Just imagine. Have a look at the story once again, children. Come on, read it. Some of you may not have textbooks. Yes. So I'm revising it again and again for you. Please read it. Whatever is flashed there, please read it. You'll be very thorough with the story, children. Are you reading? Are you revising? Yes, children, please read. So what happened when the world was new? Animals just started to work for man. And who lived in the middle of the howling desert? Camel. Was it a lazy animal? Yes, very lazy. He did not want to do any work. And what did he do? He said, only hump. So what did the horse, dog and dogs do? They approached the camel. But what reply did they get? The horse, the dog and dogs? The camel said, hump. That's all. So who had to work double time? The dog, the horse and the ox had to work double time. Why? To compensate the camel's work. So that is the reason they had to work double time. Who complained to the jinn? The horse. Yes. What did he say? That he did not do any work. That was a complaint. So the jinn assured them that he would set the camel right. Ugly camel. Why did it become ugly? Oh my God. He developed a hump on his back. The jinn punished him, children. What happened to his back? It was puffing up, and finally what happened? He developed a hump on his back. Still the camel did not want to do any work. He said it was a big hurdle. So what was the purpose of the hump? He would be able to work for 3 days without any food, without eating. He could live on his hump, yes. The jinn asked the camel to behave properly. But did it learn to behave? No, he has not yet learned to behave. So children, read the story once again, go through the summary, go through the questions and answers so that you do not face any problem in the monthly test. Tell me, children, how many times did you read the story, How the Camel Got His Hump? Okay, read it at least 2 to 3 times. With what? With proper understanding. Write down the difficult words. Look up the meaning of the difficult words and write them down in your notebook. Okay, so that's all for this session, children. Please read, revise. Thank you. Have a nice day.